So this is a brand new project, and today I've decided, let's make a simple double jump. And to make a simple double jump, all we need to do is insert a local script inside of starter character scripts. And the reason why it's local script is because everything inside of starter player is actually client-sided, and for client-sided stuff, we usually use local scripts. So first off, we need to get the player's character, and for that we will need to get the player service. And so since we are making a double jump, right, we need to detect when the player actually presses space, so that we know we can run all of these checks and make him double jump, if he's in air. So let's actually get the user input service. And also note that we have the user input service, we also need for a way to detect the state of the player is by getting the humanoid and getting a state from the humanoid. Basically, humanoid contains all of these properties and all of the player states that the player has. To get the humanoid, all we need to do is just, find the humanoid inside of the character, find for child, humanoid, and we will get the humanoid. And also for the double jump, let's create two variables. The max jump amount variable, basically how many times can the player actually jump, and the current jump variable, basically how many times the player currently just jumped, right? So now that we have those variables, so let's actually detect, whenever player actually presses space, can the player actually double jump? So let's get the user input service that input began, connect function, and as you can see, there are a bunch of these parameters. And so what we want to also achieve is that, the double jump doesn't trigger when the player actually is shutting. So for that, we can simply create this if statement. So if game puts event, then just return. So this will mean if the player is currently inside of the chat, the player will not double jump, and obviously that's what we want. Also, let's detect, if the key is the spacebar, and we can detect it by simply checking if input keycode equals to enum keycode space, so the spacebar, then we will make the player actually double jump. And so now what's interesting, we can actually get the state of the humanoid and see, if the player is currently free falling, then he can use the double jump, right? So let's get the humanoid state. So if humanoid get state, make sure you write this precisely, enum.humanoid state type free fall, so the player is currently free falling, then he can actually double jump. We also need to check, if the current jump amount is not above the max jump amount, because if it is, the player cannot jump, right? So we will just return. But if it's not, then it means that, we can actually make the player jump. So all we need to do is just add to current jumps +1 and change the humanoid state. So humanoid change state to enum humanoid state type jumping, and also make it true. And so if we play this right now, as you will see, the player can actually double jump, actually triple jump, right? Because there are three variables. But the issue currently is that, we can only do it once, and obviously we want the double jumps to recharge whenever player actually hits the ground. That we will need to add another connection to the humanoid, and this connection will be humanoid state changed connect function. So old state versus new state. We should check, if the new state is actually equal to humanoid state type landed, so the player actually just landed to the ground, right? We need to reset the current jump amount to 0. And so if we play this the game now, as you can see, the triple jump recharges. So we just successfully created a double jump. Do like and subscribe, and good luck scripting.